Hey, Jorge Estrada, welcome back. After seeing all these videos about the brand new Dodge Charger Super B, I too wanted to bring out my reaction to it because, quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised, confused, and disappointed by a lot of these reactions out there because they were so negative. And I want to counter a lot of these negative Nancy's because I feel like they have neither any understanding about car manufacturing and or politics, or maybe they don't even care to find out about it. Of course, company leadership and their vision takes also part in it, but I'm not sure why these people are not a little bit more positive and more patient. Uh, but makes you wonder if they're truly enthusiasts or supporters of the brand, or if they're really just trolls and wouldn't buy a product anyway. I don't know, but the numbers are not even official yet, and somehow all these people have all the answers, and it's kind of funny, kind of frustrating. But either way, it's kind of doesn't matter because here's my take. I hope it clears up a little bit stuff, because it's so much goes into manufacturing, especially mass producing vehicles, from concept, prototyping, sourcing, certification, safety, etc. You also need a network for warranty, for servicing, training, yada yada. I'm saying all this because the BEV charger, the chassis was so expensive, it had to be salvaged, and I absolutely do not blame them at all. And I do like the design. I drove the Stage 1 and it drove surprisingly well. Much to my surprise, I did not expect that. I still wouldn't buy one, but I did like it. I still do, and then they put a gas engine in there. There was a thing that a lot of people complained about it, but then it wasn't good enough because it was the wrong engine. So they kept complaining about it. But again, huge part of it was politics. And this is not a political video, but this is how Aston Martin got their Signet. This is how we got the Hornet. Go look it up. And with that being said, I also drove the Scat Pack with the 3-liter high output, and I'm also positively surprised. It drives fantastic. I love it. And going fast forward, now we have the current Charger with 3 trims, or 2 trims, hopefully mid next year, with a 3rd trim, with 2 engines, or next year then with 1 engine, 3 power trims or power stages, and that is in 3 years. And the previous generation had 9 trims, 4 engines in 12 years. So people really have to learn to be patient. They want, like, it feels like they want everything right now. And that's just not, that doesn't work like that. It won't work like that, And people are upset that it's supposedly the Super B is not a muscle car, but I come back to that later. But muscle car is not a legal car segment. It's again politics. But muscle car is a marketing term, and I feel like we're getting hung up on the wrong things. They also complain that it's 4,800 plus pounds, and it handles like a brick. It's not a skinny girl for sure, but maybe it was never meant to be, because part of it is, again, you guessed it, politics and regulations. Safety equipment has to go in there, same old, but cars that heavy have been around for a very long time, and perhaps even longer than some of the people that complain about them have been alive. Enter the Mercedes C215. If you don't know, this is a S-Class coupe that was made until 2006. Very similar measurements, but way slower. Both 0 to 60 and the V-Max. It hangs out in the exclusive club of Grand Tourists. Performs beautifully for its intended purpose. I love these cars, and I feel like this is who we're competing against. It's touring cars. Again, that's just my opinion. Also, my opinion is that Dodge has 3 issues: marketing, price, and dealerships. But I'm not their spokesperson, so I'll let them fix it. And if they want my input, I'm here for them. Absolutely, 100%. I love the Dodge brothers. I want them to succeed. I want to help, But for the complainers out there that say that we should worry about Ford, we left Ford behind a long time ago. I mean, why bother? Our closest competition is a 2026 or 2025 came out, I believe, the Mercedes E53 AMG. Who needs, by the way, who needs an electric motor to come close to what the Super B can offer? The Scat Pack, who is right now already on the road, is already very close to the E53. And we are talking right now premium European performance sedan. To me, that's a big deal. To you, it may be not, and that's okay. But to me, that's a big deal. Premium European performance sedan. That is, we talk about very expensive cars with a high premium, high performance setting. But maybe that's, if you don't like that, that's fine. Then perhaps you need to wait for another model to be released. Smaller, different powertrain, whatever. We don't know what they have in the pipeline. And my question to you is, do you even get the Stellantis newsletter? Because what did they say last year? They said 11 new models in the United States by 2030. I mean, that is very ambitious. And you know what? I love it. That is a big investment. I think they said 60 billion. That is big and very ambitious. And we should support that. So instead of tearing them and each other down, we should build each other up and support that and be excited for them and be excited for us, because it gives us options and new products. Even if we might not like each and every product, And like I said, I love the brand. I want them to succeed and be around forever. And I love the Super B so much. My wife is already sick and tired of it because she can't hear me talking about it anymore. But I see the possibilities and how endless they are. Because imagine, they already showed the cha-ching green. Now imagine that green with an exterior with a luxury interior package. It's a cognac interior. And not just the seats, what they do now, this nonsense, but a whole interior, including the headliner and everything. Amber driving lights on the outside. You have red tail lights. This is very Aston Martin, and they really need to start sweating over there and thinking, oh my Lord, we have to do something different, And this is how I approach this, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we should look at it. We are reaching, and I'm not saying we have to go premium and luxury all the time, 100%. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the options are here. We're having 3 trim levels right now. We can offer so many more. Yes, we should absolutely have a base trim, 100%. We should have a compact model, absolutely, 100%. But we should also have a premium luxury trim. And those are just my opinions. So, and I feel like the options, the possibilities, the opportunity is here. And we should be excited for it. And with that, thank you, Dodge. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the fact that you work with what you have, because I know being in that space, it's not always easy, but it can be exciting. And I appreciate what you're doing. Keep moving forward. And next year, please send me a Super B. Thank you.